Hi guys, Littleaussiemel here for a check-in. It's been a little over 2 weeks since I did my last update. I'm not even sure what week I'm up to actually. I think it might be week 22, but I'll check before I upload the video. So last week I didn't do an update. It was the day before I left for the trip to Tampa for the Weight Loss Surgery Foundation of America conference. I actually thought that I did weigh in that day and I thought that I'd gained half a kilo, but when I went back through my notes this morning I realised it was actually just a zero, like no gain, no loss, just a maintain for the week. So yeah, so my numbers for today, where am I? So my starting weight was 105 kilos or 231 pounds. My pre-op diet starting weight was 97.4 kilos or 214 pounds. And this week I weighed in at 74 kilos exactly, or 162.8 pounds, which is a loss for last week of 1.7 kilos or 3.74 pounds, which is a huge drop for me. So even considering last week that I just had to maintain, that's even still really big. So it just goes to show that staying up all night and walking around and not really eating much actually can kick you back into weight loss. So I'm feeling, although I sound really husky, feeling really refreshed and rehydrated after the trip. So yeah, so I'll get straight into talking about Tampa. Just what an amazing time I had, a trip of a lifetime. I highly recommend, if you do have the chance to do something like that with people that you've met in the community, to do whatever you can do to get there, because yeah, it was just fantastic. So in particular I want to thank people and shout out to people. So in particular TJ, Phil, Corey, Lynn and Tanya. They all took me to Disney World on the first day that I got there, and it was just an absolute ball, wandering around and going on all the rides and yeah, seeing what America has to offer as far as theme parks go. It certainly makes me realise that we really do ours on the cheap. Like all the rides and everything were just done so well, so that was just really nice to experience that. And also wanted to thank Phil, Gooch and John, who John's a +1, Tanya's +1, for the gifts. I got t-shirts, and I got a t-shirt for my husband from John, which is actually a bit too small, so it looks like I scored that one. And Gooch bought me a baseball cap and some jerky, and Phil bought me a little stash of jerky and Quest bars for my trip too. So I finally got to taste perky jerky, and it's actually really good. I didn't think that I liked jerky. Everything I'd tasted in Australia was really kind of like a leathery old boot, but it's really the perky jerky is really sort of moist and tender. So yeah, it's worth ordering, I think, even to, yeah, if you can't find it locally, to pay for it to be shipped over to Australia. I think you would be pleasantly surprised with that. Also, some new friends that I got to make while I was over there in particular is Corey J. Cook and Sarah Spoon. Even though I have watched maybe just one or two of their videos, they were two people that I really got to bond with while I was there, who I didn't really know a lot about before. Sarah Spoon sort of stopped making her videos right around the time that I started making videos, and yeah, and Corey was just someone that I sort of never got around to watching, because I already have so many people that I try to watch every week that I just never found the time. But they're both amazing people, and I really consider them to be lifelong friends now, and definitely will be watching their videos in the future. So as far as the actual convention side of things go, I certainly didn't go to all the talks. I only went to a few that interested me. But one of the main things that I took away from it was how much people actually do struggle with regaining their weight when they get to sort of that 1 year, 2 year, 3 year post-op mark. So I thought I'd just share with you some of the things that seem to be important. The main one, I guess, was, you know, always sticking to that rule of not consuming food and liquids together, which I do follow that rule. But it was never sort of, it was just, I just thought you kind of had to do it for a comfort level, because if I do try and have any liquid with my food, it makes my stomach really uncomfortable. But the actual physical mechanism for that is to not, you kind of got your stomach and then like a little valve below that opens and closes to let the food through to the intestine. And if you're regularly consuming food and liquids at the same time, you're going to be forcing food through that valve much sort of quicker and putting more stress on that valve, and you can actually damage its ability to open and close, which could eventually leave it sort of to be more stretched and open and allowing food to pass through more quickly, which will leave you more hungry and wanting to eat more food, and sort of things that you want to avoid. And another thing too that kind of applied to me was talking about that more snack mentality of just eating small meals frequently, which is something you kind of have to do anyway, but the meals I do eat are very small. It's rare that I actually get to a point of actually feeling that full feeling in my stomach, and they talked a little bit about how important that actually is to, when you eat, to fill your stomach to its capacity without obviously hurting yourself, but to fill it to capacity so that you're activating all the body's natural mechanisms and processes to send the right signals to your brain that you've eaten, and to turn off your hunger cravings for, you know, a few hours and that sort of thing. So that was something else that I found valuable from the discussions at the actual convention. Then just like general interaction things with people, I really found it so great to be eating meals with other WLS people, just sharing meals, and just not like just being able to complain about not being able to finish your plate of food or whatever, and just knowing that other people kind of just know exactly what you mean, and it was just really nice to experience. So, like, obviously there was a lot of partying that went on, and there has been a little bit of judgment passed on the drinking that took place at the convention. We had quite a large group of people that all kind of hung around the pool and socialised, and there was a lot of alcohol consumed, and it was really fun. It was very funny nights. But there were also people in our group who didn't drink at all. I don't think Gooch really drank much, and there were others. But I guess my point there is just that you know, it wasn't sort of all about the drinking. Like, yeah, we were all drinking to have fun, but the people who weren't drinking also had just as much fun as we did. So, and it wasn't like you had to drink to be part of the cool kids or anything like that. It was just, you know, you did whatever you chose to do, and didn't sort of expect to be judged for that. So, there's also been a bit of talk about gossiping that might have gone on at the convention. I think really for it to be gossip, I mean, like, when everybody knows each other, it's kind of natural to have conversations about people within your circle of friends, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think when it turns to gossip, when people are jumping to conclusions or making up, just assuming things that may or may not be true, that's when it can become hurtful. So, I know I always stick to the facts, and yeah, we'll never pass judgment on anyone unless I actually experienced something firsthand. So yeah, for anyone who has been affected by that, yeah, I feel really bad for them if that has impacted their lives, and hopefully we can all just sort of go back to supporting each other and just steering away from any of that kind of thing, because it's not helpful for anybody. What else? One of the other great things about the holiday was just not feeling self-conscious at all. I don't think there was a moment at all in the whole trip where I felt self-conscious. Even like for the first time I wore my swimming cozy. Everyone paid me out so much for my cozy, or swimsuit as you call it. Yeah, like I could just lay there in my cozy and sunbake or swim or whatever, and I didn't wear board shorts, and I just felt like, yeah, I was totally fine, that I'm not happy with my body the way it is, but that everybody else was probably also feeling the same about their bodies, and so it just didn't matter. And it was just so nice to just have fun and enjoy myself, and to not be worrying about that. So it will be interesting to see how I take that forward, because I am going to Malaysia in about 2 weeks with just regular normie people, so I suspect I might not feel as comfortable in that environment, but I'm going to really try to just take that mentality with me, and yeah, and see. So I'll let you know how I go with that. So yeah, it was the worst part of the convention was having to say goodbye to everybody. I've never seen so many grown men shed tears, which was really beautiful to see everyone, just that raw emotion of how much we really all do care for each other, and what a support we've been. I had to remind Phil that, you know, it's not crying, it's liquid running from his eyes in fear from his 50 questions video. Yeah, it was actually awful. It was like everyone was just dreading having to say goodbye on the Sunday, and yeah, and I was one of the last people to kind of go. So then I made my way to the airport, and there was a few flight delays, so I nearly missed my connecting flight home, and I had to do a mad dash run from one end of the airport to the other with my suitcases, and as my name's being paged, final boarding call for Melanie Littleaussiemel, and it was just so scary. And by the time I got on the plane and sat down, I just burst into tears. It was all just so overwhelming, and yeah, it was just really hard. I thought I was over this. It was just hard to think that, yeah, some of those people I might not ever get to see again. But as we all kept trying to remind ourselves, it's not a goodbye, it's until next time. So hopefully there is a next time, and yeah, and if not, well, we've always got you know, Google Hangouts and YouTube to keep in touch with each other. So I don't know how I'll go next week with such a big weight loss this week. Yeah, will I lose more again next week? I really can't answer that, so we shall see. Alright, I hope everyone's doing well, and I will check in again next week. Bye for now.